Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Rematch. Today I'll be pre-reviewing Dying Light, which is the next zombie game made by Techland Studios. And no, it is not the next Dead Island, even though these games might have things in common. This zombie survival horror game is set to be released on the 27th of January for the Americas, North America, South America. However, for Europe and the rest of the world, I think it's coming out on the 30th of January. And there might be issues with hard copies of the game getting to you for that date. There was a recent article by GameSpot that said that they were having issues with demand for physical copies, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. But I just thought I'd mention that physical copies might be slightly delayed. But obviously you can still get your digital editions in there. Now the platforms for this game will be Xbox One, PC and PlayStation 4, so all next generation consoles. The game was originally meant to come out on last gen, but due to its demand in graphics and its physics, they could not put it on the old system, so it is a next gen game, guys. Now the Amazon prices for this game puts the PC edition at about £29, the PlayStation 4 edition at £41 and the Xbox One at £40. For all the other prices and for all the other editions that are available with this game, they will be listed in the comments down below, because depending on where you're ordering them from, you get loads of different pre-order items. But if you are pre-ordering, you all get one thing in common. You get the Be the Zombie kind of pack. Now, the Be the Zombie pack basically means that at night time you can infiltrate someone else's game and be the zombie, and you get to be this crazy ass souped up zombie, and you run around the streets trying to kill the person in their game, and that sounds pretty fun. You get to basically use different abilities when you're being this zombie, so that's a nice little feature there for the pre-orderers. And that is basically the basic things about this game, and I'm going to go into the story. Now, the story for Dying Light has been kept quite under wraps. A lot of people who've been able to play the game before it is released have not really been able to give much away about the story, and even the story trailer itself, released by Techland, doesn't give much away. But I'm going to go through what we do know from what we've seen and what has been released. Now, basically it's a zombie apocalypse themed game set in an open world. Players search a zombie infested world for supplies and to basically just survive and craft weapons, which sounds very much like Dead Island. However, players assume the role of one man, Kyle Crane, and you're an undercover operative sent to infiltrate the quarantine zone in a city of Haran. And basically, you just see what's going on in Haran as this undercover operative. And I assume that Kyle Crane has his own agenda whilst helping out the people of Haran. Now, the outbreak in Haran is due to a pathogen, so that's why the city is quarantined. It's absolutely cut off from the rest of the world. You are only allowed to explore Haran. But from what I've seen, Haran is quite a dynamic place. You go from small fisher town villages to the main city, you've got a shanty town, so you've got loads of different places to explore here, even though it is just in the one city. We do have a lot of variation. Now, from also what I've seen, in the wider world, there's this place called the Ministry, and they basically want to blow up the city and get rid of the pathogen altogether. But then there's this other faction called the GRE who don't want to annihilate the city, as they think that there are still survivors. So we've got those two groups in the wider world basically at work, and I assume they will have some kind of implications on the story in Haran, and I assume Kyle Crane is working for one of them. Now, in the city of Haran, we see that in the first 15 minutes we meet a doctor who's trying to find a cure. We also learn that the humans that we are working for are fighting other humans who are called thugs, and it looks like they're working for a crazy guy, because in the trailers he's shooting people and feeding them to zombies, which doesn't seem quite sane. So it looks like in Haran you've got kind of like a civil war going on with two factions of humans whilst combating the zombies. So that's crazy, but that's what I've seen so far in the story. You also have side quests like helping survivors, getting to drop zones, and creating safe zones at night. So that's the story so far. And it looks like the general idea is Kyle Crane has an agenda. he's got to basically fulfill that, but he gets involved with the people in their strife and struggles and basically wants to help them instead. And from the looks of things, it has a very Far Cry-esque look about it, the way that you pick things up in the environments and the way you can travel around as well is very Far Cry / Assassin's Creed, so it looks quite good. I mean, I'm worried that we don't know that much about the story, but at the same time, when you're doing a survival horror game, it's nice not to know the ins and outs of what will come to pass. But what I like is that the people who have played it said that the story is actually quite interesting. Because for me that was my main worry, because Techland's last game, Dead Island, it was really good fun to play with friends, but I never actually got to the main story because I just kind of got bored, as it seemed like there was no progression at all in that respect. So Dying Light sounds like it might have a nice story here to play with. But either way, that's what we have here with this story. I'm sorry it's not a lot to go on, guys, but it seems promising. So let's move on to the gameplay, which there is a lot to discuss. So bear with me as I go through all of these things that Dying Light is offering us. Now, Dying Light has quite a lot of RPG elements to it. You level up your character, you can craft weapons and mod them by finding blueprints throughout the world, and you can customize your outfit. So we've got, you know, some common RPG elements in the game. Now, the action in Dying Light is mostly melee based. You make one-handed weapons or two-handed weapons like massive mauls or hockey sticks that can set on fire, that kind of thing. You do have guns in the game, but obviously the zombies are attracted to sound, so using a gun would not be wise in the game. Bullets are also quite scarce. So the game is very heavily melee based. There are 100 weapons that can be used, and obviously you can create loads more once you begin to craft. You can create electrical barbed daggers or flaming pipes, and obviously depending on what melee weapon you use depends on how it works. The daggers are quite fast weapons, so if you quite want to be an agile player, go for knives. Obviously if you're picking a two-handed weapon, you're going to be a bit slower. So picking your weapons is also how you pick how you want to fight within the game. Weapons will also break over time. You can fix these, but after a while you won't be able to repair these items and the weapons will break permanently, so don't get too attached to your melee weapon. The game also contains a dynamic day and night cycle. During the day, players scavenge to send supplies back to safe zones. They can also set up traps, save survivors and make their way to airdrops, so these are completing goals to get XP and level up. In the day, the infected are slow, and the only danger of them is the fact that there are lots of them in numbers. So travelling around in the day is actually quite nice. Well, as nice as it can be. However, at night, this is where the game gets interesting. The infected are more dangerous. They can sprint and cause more damage. They can jump and climb, so you are not safe. Wherever you go, the zombies will follow. They'll be faster than you, they'll be stronger than you. Hence the name, probably, Dying Light. You don't want to be caught at night. However, we do have something here to help us at night. At night, we can use night sense to stay out of their way, so you can basically see where they are and try and avoid them and not get seen. You can also use traps to get rid of the numbers. If you walk past a car bomb, set it off and blow up all those zombies that are chasing you and try and get to a safe zone. Also, a big factor of the game is that sounds lure zombies away, which is a common theme with zombies. If you make a lot of noise, they'll chase you. So you can use distractions like sound to get these zombies out of your way. Because I assume, just to make things tough, they will send you out at night on quests. The devs have also said that the night cycle, I think, lasts for about 7 minutes or something, and the day cycle lasts for about 28. It's something like that. It's in the 20s, whereas the night cycle was really quite short. And everyone's like, why have you made the hardest part of the game so short? And apparently it's because people caught at night can be brought to tears with the sheer difficulty of getting away from these zombies. So that's quite nice. They've gone easy on us. But let me know how you get on with the nighttime cycle, people. The game also has free running mechanics like Assassin's Creed. There's a lot of fluidity in the movement here, but unlike Assassin's Creed, when you feel quite light and agile, the character in Dying Light will feel really heavy and cumbersome when you're jumping from place to place, which makes the jumping fluid, but also you feel like if I fall right now, I could really injure myself. There's also, when you upgrade your character, you can fall from higher drops if you get the rolling ability, so you can jump and then roll and you don't injure yourself. So the game really pushes you to basically run and jump from high places to get around the city as fast as you can, because there are no vehicles in this game, because the fluidity in the movement of the character gets you around so fast there's no need to implement them here. So we've got that, a lot of cool running and jumping, and that would be interesting to have in a zombie game, because you always feel like you've got nowhere to run, whereas in this place you'll be climbing all over the place, and Haran will just seem like an amazing playground with some crazy zombies in. This is also the first game powered by Crime Engine 6, which is Techland's new software, which delivers a new level of visuals and dynamic weathers. So this is why the game looks so amazing, and also why the devs have been able to implement a weather system. The game will therefore include weathers like rain, fog and storms, which will create an even better immersive experience in a survival horror game. You can also swim underwater in this game, which is great because recently a game was released where you couldn't swim in the water, which was outrageous because you've always been able to swim in the water since Grand Theft Auto. It was very strange when Dragon Age came out and you couldn't swim in the water. So that's also something in this game. You will be able to swim in the water, guys. You don't have to avoid it. I've also mentioned that the environment has a lot of variation to it, and it is dynamic, and the way in which it's dynamic is that when you're running across buildings or jumping from ledge to ledge, these ledges might break from deterioration. So especially in the shantytown areas, be careful where you step, guys, because the roof might come down from underneath your feet, which could put you in quite a predicament. So just bear that in mind. The environment will work against you whilst also working with you. Throughout the city, survivors have put up spikes in various places to basically shove zombies in, and this is when the environment will work with you, because if you can drop kick or push zombies into the spikes, you will have a zombie kebab, which is great. So the environment here will help you whilst also work against you, so bear that in mind. So let's talk about how you can level up your character. Now in the game there are basically 3 things that you can level up, and the way you level up these 3 things is by doing various activities which fills up their XP bars, and then once you level up in that, you can upgrade certain abilities. So what have we got here? We've got a blue bar, which is agility. Now the agility bar is obviously how fluid you can move and run, and they also give you some attack abilities. Doing things in the city that consist of vaulting over zombies and that kind of thing, you will build up this agility bar, which also means you'll have more stamina to run around. So you can unlock abilities like vaulting over zombies, drop kicking zombies, dodging zombies, rolling and ramming zombies. So you've got all those kind of different abilities here that will help you move around and not have to engage in zombie attacking as much. Or on the other hand, there are some abilities like dodging that helps you engage in zombies but not get as hurt. The other bar we have is the red bar, which is the power bar. Now obviously you upgrade this by killing zombies and doing things which are quite aggressive. So you can unlock abilities like heavy hitting, stunning enemies, you can also get more combat stamina, you can windmill, and you can stomp zombies. So a lot of that is action-based abilities when you level up the combat bar. Now I'm someone who plays quite aggressively. I will go in there and kill everything and try not to run as much as I can, so the combat bar for me will probably be the first thing I max out. There's also another bar which is the survivor bar. Now this basically upgrades every time you do a story mission or a side quest when you help survivors, and the abilities you get from this are basically bigger backpacks and those kind of survivor things that you need, carrying more ammo, carrying more weapons, that kind of thing. So that's what we've got here to level up. We've got those 3 XP bars that you level up, and then you can get various abilities that will help you in Haran, and that's the leveling up system here. We also have an online mode. Obviously I've talked about be the zombie, and you can have people infiltrate your game and try and kill you as a zombie. So you have that option there with multiplayer. You can also play up to 4 players in co-op, which kind of works like the Assassin's Creed co-op that has recently come out. 4 people can basically join your game, and you can run around the world, race to airdrops, kill as many zombies as possible, and compete in those kind of arcade activities whilst gaining XP in each other's worlds. So that's the 4-player co-op. that Techland has offered us in this game. It's very similar to the Assassin's Creed co-op that has been introduced. You've also got the asymmetrical multiplayer when people can infiltrate your map and be all crazy zombies. This therefore leaves us with 50 hours of gameplay, including DLC, which Dying Light is offering us, which is a lot. And they've been really nice to tell us all the DLC that's coming up, so those people that get the Season Pass will know exactly what they're getting in this game. So we've got 3 DLCs to come. We've got Cuisine and Cargo, which includes 2 hardcore missions, and you can investigate new buildings. So that unlocks new places in the maps and challenges you in more story-based missions. We also have the Survivor bundle coming out, which gives you 3 more outfits and 4 blueprints, so we can make new weapons and just look awesome. Last of all, we have the Bozak Horde, which is a DLC, which is probably the biggest one because it offers you a new map, new gameplay. You go inside the stadium, which is a big football stadium in the city, and you fight waves of enemies, which is like an arcade-based thing, but you also find out about this guy called Bozak, who's a crazy man, and you've got to take him down. So again, we've got more story-based DLC here. And that's all the DLC that Techland is offering us with Dying Light, which gives us the 50 hours of gameplay. And that is the gameplay for Dying Light. So what did I think about Dying Light? Well, from what I've seen, I'm intrigued about the story as they haven't given much away, and I really want to know more of what will happen in Dying Light's story. I feel like it's separated itself from its cousin, Dead Island, in magnificent ways. It's got better visuals, it's got a dynamic weather system, it's got day and night cycles. It definitely has a more scary element to the game. The crafting in the game looks fantastic, and because it's mainly melee based, I can't wait to go around hitting things with flaming hockey sticks. It's a lot better than using guns, because guns do make games too easy, I think. The movement system in Dying Light is also a really interesting one to use. Instead of giving us a vehicle to get around a city, we instead an amazing free runner, and the environment is working against us. I think that's also a really good idea Dying Light has implemented. So I'm quite happy about the weapon system, the running system, the day and night system. Dying Light has got a lot going for it. It's also stunningly visual. So what are my worries with the game? Well, I'm obviously worried about the story because I felt like Dead Island didn't deliver on that aspect. So I'm worried Dying Light might also have the same problem. I'm also worried because it is a zombie game, and for me every zombie game I've picked up has always been a disappointment. It's never how I wanted it to be. They always skimp on the story to give you survival elements. But I'm hoping Dying Light will change that view and make a complete zombie game where you actually feel for the characters and for what you're doing, instead of us just going from A to B and killing zombies in between. I mean, that's fun, but it's not what I want from a zombie game, as I do love zombie fiction. And the best thing about zombie fiction is the story. Well, in my view. So I'm going to give Dying Light an 8 out of 10. I'm marking it down 2 points because I'm unsure about its story and I don't want to be disappointed. And by marking it down on its story, I will probably be pleasantly surprised. I'm also making it lose a mark because it is another zombie game, and Techland have already given us a zombie game. I want to see what else they can do. I mean, we can see that they can make beautiful games, but I want them to break the mold a bit. I'm also worried that because it's a zombie game, it might not deliver how I want it to. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Also for PC players, I have added in the description box the recommended settings that have been given to us by Techland, and some of you might have to be upgrading your rigs because these are quite demanding. I hope you guys enjoyed my pre-review on Dying Light. Please like and subscribe and share if you found the video informative. And I'll see you next time for more pre-reviews, unboxings, playthroughs and top 5 countdowns. See ya!